Okay, Renee. So, what issues were concerning you about health?
Well, my daughter entered special ed right away when she first entered school. They knew that she had attention problems right off the bat. So ADHD came into play right away, but we chose not to medicate her. Um, Special ed services tried by pulling her out of the programming to try and give her special attention to focus on those specific areas that she needed help with. And through all of that testing, they came up with a diagnosis of cognitive processing disorder, which we kind of had an idea that dyslexia may be what we were dealing with, but we really had a hard time finding anybody who could diagnose it. So we just kept her in the special ed program, and gradually, first grade, second grade, things just kept getting worse and worse. Things just kept slipping to the point where we realized she was just not catching on. She was not making progress, and as hard as the school was trying, they weren't able to fix the problem. They assessed her IQ to be very, very high, but her performance was extremely low, and they said that meant learning disability. So that's when we decided to take matters into our own hands and seek help. So we first enlisted some teachers to try and tutor her after school and over the summer, but that wasn't enough. So then we actually went to a learning center where they also said she had cognitive processing problems, but specifically in the areas of visual and auditory processing, which was the first time that those two areas had been identified. But they again could not diagnose dyslexia, but said, yeah, it kind of looks like it, without being able to tell us definitively. So we decided to start their program, and we were in their program intensively. It was 4 days a week. She was not happy. She didn't like going. It was hard work, but it was one-on-one tutoring, and they were focusing on that visual and auditory processing, and she did make great gains. In fact, we were very pleased. We thought actually we had found the solution. It was over the summer months, and when she went back to school, her testing was great, but they hadn't fixed their reading difficulty. But we really thought we were onto something, but as soon as school started up again, the program started, getting more advanced. She just kept gradually slipping right back. So by the time she was in third grade, she was reading at less than a first grade level.
Okay. So then, what led you to LearningRx? Like, why did you enroll here?
Well, we knew that the other learning center was helping her, but there was no end in sight. She was going to be there forever. As long as the material kept getting harder, which it would, she was just going to keep falling backwards. So we would need to continue with that extra tutoring support all throughout the rest of her school career. Plus, we researched more on dyslexia and found out after third grade, it's harder to fix. So we thought that the window of opportunity to get our daughter help was starting to close. So it was at that point that a friend of mine noticed that you had opened, and I just stopped in one day to find out what you guys had to offer.
What was different about LearningRx than what you had heard elsewhere?
Well, LearningRx wasn't tutoring. It was the first program that had nothing to do with tutoring. It was supposed to target the areas in my daughter's brain that weren't functioning properly and correct the problem. And that was the first time anybody ever said that that was even possible. I was skeptical, you remember. I did my homework. My background is in public health, and I had a lot of resources available to me where I could ask people, have you heard of cognitive brain training? Have you got any information for me? Can you tell me anything about it? We went to other centers. I called all the resources that you gave me, and I looked up everything I could get my hands on online. Pretty much led me to the decision that we had nothing to lose except our daughter's ability to learn to read.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was the result of her time at LearningRx?
Well, first of all, it was hard. It was really hard. I think it was harder than we even expected. have 3 children, so you're investing a whole lot of time into one child. My husband and I both work, so you have to do it above and beyond school and work hours. And then you have a child who fights it because it's hard. So you might have an hour of training to do, but you have a half an hour of arguing just to get to the training. So it takes out a significant amount of time in your schedule, and it's 6 days a week for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was hard. But we were committed to trying our best to try and make sure that we could get her the help that she needed, and it worked. We gradually started to see her being able to read, and I think that was the first indication that we were onto something. But the results were not immediate. It did take time, and it was really after she graduated that we started to see the biggest gains, because she didn't have that pressure of doing the training anymore. She could just sit down and read for fun, which she had never done before, ever.
So she's been out for graduated about 6 months ago or so.
Right.
How is school going for her now?
It's amazing. We knew, I don't know if Lexile means anything to anybody, but it's the reading level. Last year, when Elle finished school, she was at a 198. Not very high, certainly not grade level. She was reading at about a first grade level. When she came back to school in the fall, she was assessed in the 300s, low 300s. So she had improved, but still not at grade level. So the goal was for her to get to a 450, which still wasn't at grade level, by the next conference. And we just had that conference, and she was at a 664. So she more than doubled her Lexile, and she is now reading at grade level.
How does she feel, like, confidence-wise? Any changes there for Elle? Or?
Huge confidence. She can pick up a book and she can start reading it. She doesn't get frustrated anymore. She said that the books are like a movie in her head, and she never realized it could be so much fun. So she's actually interested in reading. We found a series that she really liked, and she can't wait to get the next book. And she's rereading them because she's enjoyed them so much. She loves school. Part of their curriculum is a reading program, and they're assigning books to her, and she's at grade level books, and she's just so happy. Even when it's hard, she's actually trying, whereas before we'd get a wall and she would shut down and wouldn't even try. So her confidence has definitely increased. Her math is even better, and that wasn't even an area that she was really struggling in, but she's improved on her time tests, and her confidence overall in school has dramatically improved.
Good. Well, what would you say to a parent who might be considering LearningRx?
Definitely give it a try. I really believe that the program made all the difference in the world for our daughter. The progress that we've seen in her is beyond what we even hoped for, or even thought was possible. And on the way back from conferences in the car, after we were so ecstatic that she had made all this progress, and I asked her, would you have believed someone when we first went to LearningRx if they sat you down and said, if you do this program and you work your hardest, that in a year from now, this is where you will be? Did you ever think that was possible? And she said, no way, Mom. So it was very cool.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank
That
you.
was great.